the Purple Playroom. We've been talking love throughout the month of Valentine, and what we are doing this week is talking what happens when the relationship is over, and while we want to believe there is still some sort of love that is right there. So our guests on this particular episode have broken up, and they remain very good friends. I want to believe you know one of the guests at the very least. She goes by the name WolfLikeRoss. Yes, my co-host is one of our guests today, and she is going to be alongside another very good friend of mine. He goes by the name MOG. You want to be listening into this conversation. And remember, we are here live and direct from 8 at Design. Very, very grateful to be here. Remember, also, you can catch us every single Tuesday from 10 to 12 midnight on Gabs FM, except on this particular series of Valentines. My name is Cathy Malejane. You want to be listening to the rest of this conversation? Do not go anywhere.
You can't laugh at the first one.
Because I know the answer to this.
What is it?
What was your first impression of me?
It was not good.
It really wasn't.
It was not good.
It really wasn't. It really, really
Oh
wasn't.
man, I've told you this story so many times though. Yeah, we both worked at Yarn FM. I was producing, you had a weekend show. And Yarn was interesting because you could like work there and still never meet some of your colleagues unless there was like an event or something. And I remember us a few of us being at work after hours one time, and we were outside the building, and I saw you and I didn't recognize you or know you, and I asked him, and I'm like, who's that guy? He's like, that's MOG. I'm like, who? He's like, that's MOG. I'm like, that's a stupid name.
Hey, hence the rebrand. Yeah.
So I just thought, that's such a terrible name. But yeah, I think then we officially maybe like spoke to each other, and because even that night we didn't really interact at the Christmas party that followed after that. I don't know if it was a few weeks or months later. I'm not sure the timelines.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hung out at the Christmas party. I liked you. I thought you were cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we ended up spending a large portion of the party together, just getting along. So... But my first impression of you was horrendous.
You didn't like the name as well.
Your name was so stupid.
Why do you think it's stupid?
I don't know. I heard it and I was like, that makes no sense.
MOG.
Yeah.
There's MOG.
You see, that's what helped you. Now, 10 years later. But yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What was your first impression of me?
First impression of you. Cause like it's all right. Grew up in the village.
Yeah.
Moved to phase 2. I was just like,
No, I don't know.
rich girl, gas,
Yeah.
popular, friends with everybody, that kind of stuff. But it didn't do anything to me in the sense of I was just like, okay. And I think that Christmas party, big shout out to the Christmas party, that's also where we really had an interaction. That's where we
The
talked.
myths were debunked.
Yes, the myths were debunked, and we had like
A ball.
a ball.
Yeah.
And we had conversations way beyond work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think after that, I was like,
Cool people. Yeah.
So that was my first impression, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had that impression of that, had a conversation with the person, and the rest was history.
As they say.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next?
Yeah.
I don't trust what's behind these cards, by the way. Oh. How would you describe our relationship now?
Right now, it's free flow. It's in a flow state.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no level of. It's just flows. It's easy, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, The names we used to call each other, we still use. The conversations, the jokes are still the same. It's easy.
Yeah.
There's not too much to say about that. It's just easy.
I think I would have to agree with you on that one. It's just like, because also after our relationship ending, my hugest thing was, man, I'm going to lose my friend.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say we're friends now.
Yeah.
But we're in a place where we have zero bad blood.
Yeah.
And you can call me and be like, hey, what's that song that, and I can call you and ask you a question, and it's never weird.
Yeah.
If I see your name pop up on my phone, I don't go.
You don't get scared.
No, it's not like my other ex. So I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
So I would describe it as exactly that as well. What we're cool.
Yeah.
I think when a lot of people hear that, exes are still okay with each other, they think, oh yeah, no, there's definitely something going on there.
Yeah. Goes back to, you are my friend.
Yeah.
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 Still are my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Why do you think our relationship is the way it is now?
Because it didn't end badly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reasons for us separating at the time were pretty valid, and it was just a matter of us understanding why it had to happen.
Yeah.
As uncomfortable or as painful as it was. And because I lost no love for you in that process, which is why I have still a lot of love for you now and a lot of respect for you now. So that's why our relationship is not, I hate him. It's not a Kelly song. And
or a scissor song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's why and I'm really grateful for the way it is now. If I've never said it before, let me say it now, to be like, man, it would have crushed me to have to hate you.
Why would you hate me?
Exactly. So I'm grateful that it didn't end in a way that forced me into that, because it's such like a waste of such genuine love that we had for each other, for it to transform into that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that even if it's not a romantic love that we have now, I'm just glad for it. So yeah, I would say that that's why our relationship is the way that it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think exactly that. It wasn't, people have this thing where we say people don't want to have difficult conversations, I think it's one of those moments where I look back, how many years has it been?
4.
About four. I look back and I'm like, there are things before that, there are probably things in between that time.
Yeah.
Where I was less mature than when we had that difficult conversation.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I can still look back at it today and still be like, you can have a proper conversation about things. You can, and look, you take your time in healing, but that healing also, when there's purpose behind it, or there's intention behind it, and there's no, I want to get her back, or I want to get him back kind of feeling. Anyway, for me, it was that, there's nothing to get back, at her for.
Yeah.
There was a lot of growth that happened. So even now, it's just a reflection of things where you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That could have been done that way. This could have been done that way. But there is no sort of love that was thrown outside the window, even at that moment. So I think that's why conversations can still be had, past, present, and and future.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okie dokie. Is that the explanation you give people who ask you about your ex?
No, I mean like only. No, it is. No, it definitely
Yeah,
is.
no, 100% same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oof. What is one thing you would change about how our relationship ended if you could?
See, it's one thing I could change.
About how it ended, yeah. Maybe something you needed from me at the time that I didn't give you, or maybe how any of us reacted after. I don't know.
Ask that question again.
What's one thing you would change about how our relationship ended if you could?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think there's much, right?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we were frank.
Yeah.
You know, what it needed at the time was frank, honest conversations, and as hard as it was, they were had.
Yeah.
I think we did. I don't think you can be good at a breakup, but I think if somebody did a breakup correctly, it was us.
Break up correctly.
Yeah.
Poster child. Break up.
Conscious uncoupling is what they call it, actually.
Will and Jada. I know. I don't want them as an example.
Somebody call Agatha.
No, I don't want that as an example.
No, but I mean, yeah, I don't think there's anything I would change about how it ended. Do you think, given the circumstances, we could have ended it sooner? Could we have wrote it out a little bit more?
No, that's difficult to answer.
Yeah.
I think that's difficult to answer.
Yeah.
Because it's now a thing of everything. I think when you get to a point where there is that growth that you see. Sometimes we say I grew, and you don't see the growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's easier to say yes, I could have done this better. I could have done this earlier, but no, I really don't think so.
It was what it was, and yeah, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still hurts. I think.
Yeah, it sucked.
But I don't think I would
It
change
sucked. Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your turn, I guess.
How has our relationship altered the way you view present or future relationships?
That's an interesting one. And okay, so it made or taught me that I have to exist within a relationship. You know, the only version of me can't be the version that is in the relationship. So if I'm MOG's girlfriend, that can't be all that there is to me. And I realized that towards the end, which is one of the reasons we ended up where we ended up, is I felt lost in it, where I was like, but I haven't done anything to self-actualize. I haven't done any work on myself, which was by no means your fault. But I let myself fall by the wayside. And by the time, we ended our relationship, I was like, okay, now I have to start from scratch because so many things have happened. And now this big life event has happened to me. And it's kind of shocked me awake where I'm just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Who am I? What do I want?
Yeah.
So I guess what it's done to how I view present and future relationships is that I've got to exist within that structure.
Yeah.
There has to be me somewhere in there so that I know that the decisions I'm making for myself and for that relationship come from a place of like fortitude of self.
Yeah.
Like I know myself while I'm in there and I can trust the decisions that I make while I'm in there.
Yeah.
Because like a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it has changed how I view relationships now and going into the future.
Yeah.
What about you?
Trying to answer this like should I answer this like a politician? Or answer it like,
We speak to politicians all day.
should I answer this like a politician?
Answer it like my friend.
I think for me, the main thing is I understand myself in the sense of my flaws. I think for me, when you know me or you get to know me, you'll straight off the bat know sort of how the mind operates and how and what I'm about. And so somebody once called me, what did they call this? An acquired taste. I was so confused, and I think I was at the time offended. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I am an acquired taste.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's either somebody really likes you or really doesn't like you. So I think at the time, whether it's age or whatever, I don't know, it was a thing of the part where I felt like wasn't likable or wasn't, I felt, whether it's true or not, but I would feel it. I tried so much to try bring it to the likable side. And when you do that, you know, when you take what you want, what you believe in, or whatever, and you try to bring it here, there's a loss of self that sort of happens.
And you discovered that being with me?
I think everybody does, in the sense of, you know, say married people, there are compromises that people do for each other.
Yeah.
But you have to understand from what perspective
Yeah.
you are. I need to understand why you see it that way.
Yeah.
You need to understand why I see it this way.
Yeah.
And then we need to
Find the middle.
I think sometimes where maybe you are too in love. I don't know. Sometimes you forget your perspective.
That's what I meant by like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we both have to kind of exist.
Yeah. Sometimes you forget your perspective and how you believe in things, how you believe in life.
Because I want you to be happy.
Yeah, because I want you to be happy. So I think that's the one thing where I'm like, okay, I can't do that. I have to, you have to take me for...
on your business.
You have to take me for what I am.
Yeah.
But also then it's how you communicate those perspectives, which I also had to sort of be cognizant about. What I need to be able to be like, hey, yo.
Yeah.
Insijana, Risaumani,
Yeah.
Rasahautani,
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I sort of
Yeah.
went like, okay.
You know, when you say that, maybe that's also one of the things that might have been flawed about our relationship is we always used to consider it a flex that we didn't fight very much. But that was a lot of the times because maybe we were making compromises before having necessary conversations. So giving into whatever it is without first actually just having a conversation about it and saying, but
Yeah. The difficult
maybe we should
conversations.
have had more fights, you know?
Maybe we should have had
more
more
arguments
fights.
that would turn into productive conversations, and maybe we avoided that, which is why we didn't fight like other couples.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Proud of you, man.
Proud of you too. Am I asking or you asking?
I believe
I believe you can fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name a period in your life I contributed in getting you through.
That's a personal question.
I know.
That's a
I already know my answer to this question, and I think I know what yours is too, but you know, you can answer it however sparingly or fully you want.
Yeah, I think for that, I don't want to get into it because it involves another person it involves other people.
Yeah.
One of them being my daughter.
Yeah.
And other people.
And others.
And other people, you know, who I think I wouldn't want to put in that position. But yeah, if anybody knows me, if you don't, then that's fine. The period with my daughter. I think it was in the tough situations.
There was a period, yeah.
There were situations with my daughter.
Yeah.
Where, it was just, I wouldn't, I think that period, even where I am now, even when I talk to, boys or even girls with kids, I think that's where I can give some of the best advice on some do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
Or look at things this way, not perfect in that regard, but there's a bit of experience where I'm just like, to avoid
Yeah.
the pain that you could be causing to yourself.
Yeah.
And to try and create an environment. At the end of the day, it's about a child. But I think for me, that environment to just be able to be the best version at that time
Yeah.
for my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of that a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she also understands and knows, because I was telling you the other day, she was like, "Yay,
She misses
yeah,
me.
where's Ross? Where's Ross? I miss Ross." So I
Yeah.
think that period is it's evidence in my heart and in my mind, and
Yeah.
even hers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you?
I feel like you know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to answer the question without getting too emotional. But
He wouldn't want you to.
he would laugh at me. Okay.
Yeah, I think he would. So.
Okay.
Yeah. We
Calm down.
no man. Yeah.
My dad's passing.
Yeah.
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 You did that.
Yeah.
You rode with me through this one.
Yeah.
And it's still a sensitive spot for me today because you were the only one that I had at the time.
Yeah.
I've had the healing conversations with my inner circle about how I felt at the time. Where were you guys? But you were always there. And I didn't ask you for a thing at the time, but you did everything for me. Yeah. I don't know how it would have been for me if you hadn't been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to put that down before I cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm already crying.
In
Yeah.
the words of Boko, that was my boy. That is my boy.
Thank
still.
you for that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still my boy. Still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aye, but teeny, but I had no way. There's no way you can ask this. Who should I look at?
Not me.
No way.
What is it?
How do you feel our relationship has prepared you for the next one?
Oh, well, I don't think that's a difficult one to answer.
Okay, unless I didn't read it properly.
How do I feel like our relationship prepared me for the next one?
Oh no, it's like the other question. Similar.
It's kind of.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
very similar to the other
But I
one.
read it wrong.
Okay, the first thing of self-gov is the best gov. I feel very confident in having some semblance of individuality before I enter a relationship. My autonomy means everything to me. And that's not ever to say our relationship took my autonomy away. It was, the onus was on me at the time to focus on myself a little bit more. But it's prepared me for the next relationship in that also I can fully love a person and trust that I love them and they love me back. Yeah, so our relationship just taught me to relax in a relationship and to be confident that if somebody is who they say they are and says they feel about you how they say they feel, you believe them and you go 10 toes in. So I'm, based off of the relationship we had, our relationship is the reason I haven't really been in anything serious since then. Because if it's not 10 toes in, I don't bother. Yeah, I know what it feels like to be fully in. And if I don't have that, then I don't bother. Yeah, so that's how it's prepared me for a future one, is just be like, go like balls deep. Can I say that?
I don't know. You'll edit it out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just prepared me to be fully present in a relationship. Just do what the other person needs you to do and love wholeheartedly. All or nothing. As
All or
corny as
nothing.
that sounds like a
Adidas ad.
what do they call it?
Adidas
like
app.
a fortune cookie.
Fortune cookie, all or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. How did our relationship prepare you for the next one? Or the ones you've been in since then?
Well, I failed miserably. That was me. I failed terribly. But I think one of the reasons I agreed to do this is because that was and is a pivotal time in my life. I mean, you know, we read the same book. We bought a book, Joe Dispenza,
Becoming Supernatural.
and we loved it. It was very difficult at first read. It's this thick. It's neuroscience.
And it's all science. It's neuroscience.
It's neuroscience.
Yeah.
But we read it a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I only sort of understood, and I'm understanding some of its concepts.
Yeah.
Even now.
Yeah.
And one of them being able to tap into a feeling, you know. What I mean without getting too deep or too boring is, you know, if the feeling of success, you can tap into that feeling. You have evidence of being successful before.
Yeah.
It's easy to tap into that feeling once you know where to go. You know,
Bring yourself into that.
Yeah.
Before we get too sciencey.
You know what I mean? So it was easy for me to be able to tap into certain things that when we were together, I felt.
Yeah.
And
you had an example of those things.
Yeah, I had an example. I have evidence of those. I think for me, it's just grace. You know, that word is used a lot. It's grace. Grace for yourself and grace for the other person. We come from different backgrounds. We see things differently. And I said this earlier, it's about understanding where the other person is coming from and why they feel or see things that way. So that thing is a big thing for me. Another one that I think it prepared me for, it's just being present with somebody's feelings, man. You know, I think something, maybe it's a man thing. I know I've been that. Maybe I'm still that, who knows? But I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I think we sometimes get to a point where someone's feelings or someone's how they feel makes you uncomfortable. You understand? And then you're not present in their feelings.
Trying to avoid it.
You're trying to avoid it. And you're like, okay, come my head's off.
Can you get over this?
Can you get over this? It makes me uncomfortable. So that, just being present as well. I think it's some of the things.
Sitting in the discomfort.
Sitting in the discomfort and understanding who this person is for you and what they are for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just awareness, presence, grace. It's, for me, the greatest things I've,
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure, Brian.
Did you ever get real closure? Or did we create it for ourselves? And then there's an additional one to say, do you believe in closure?
I'll start from the back. I think with age, hey, in the sense of I think closure is overrated. I think, to be honest, it's my opinion.
Closure.
Yeah, what is it? So, what do you want to know? What do you want to look? For me, at the end of the day, I think it took me about 2 to 3 years to fully just get over everything. So, as much as we talk about, yeah, it's funny, it's crazy, right?
This is the first time I'm hearing that.
Yeah, I think people can talk about, or we talked about, not even people. Sorry, Kevato.
How do you guys?
We talked about how the breakup was a conversation. It wasn't to hell with you, to this, to this, to this. You know what? Yo.
But it was a series of conversations.
It was a conversations that happened. But if I sit here, even with anybody that's been divorced or gone through a breakup, whether it was nice or not nice, whatever. Not nice meaning you guys was, or nice as in you guys talked. The healing, you still need to. I took years. I took 3.
You need to heal.
I took about 3. And I think I've talked about this for anybody that has had the preview of hearing me. I'll be like, I took about 3 years.
Yeah.
So the closure I had to create.
Yeah.
Yeah, the closure,
Yeah.
honestly, that one I had to find for myself
Yeah.
and within myself and
Yeah.
around me. So no, the conversation to give closure, to be honest, I had to dig deep.
You had to fend for yourself.
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just feel like, how the principle of the cure and the cause, like the thing that's causing you pain or the person that's causing the pain is also the only person that can relieve it. And I feel like that's how a lot of couples wind up doing the breakup, makeup, get back together 5 times thing, which we never did. So we really had to separate. And I remember that being something I was adamant to myself about. I never had to talk to you about it, but I was adamant to myself that if I feel like I want to speak to him, sometimes let me suppress that, because it could just kind of
Blur.
pull us into a loop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And blur
let's
the
just
feeling.
let it
Yeah.
let's just let it go, see what it brings about if we've been away from each other for long enough. I was never closed off to the idea that we might find each other again, maybe around that time. I remember saying the craziest thing to you.
I remember that.
You
shit.
do?
I think I do.
Oh my
Shock
God.
Me.
And
If you
you
say it and it's right,
and it's right?
I'll be like, I remember that.
telling that to friends of mine, and they were like, you asked him what? And I remember feeling so terrible retrospectively. I'm like, I should never have said that to him, but you also had so much grace for me.
What did you say? Remind me.
I had a conversation, I guess, during our breakup with you to say, you know what, I could be making the worst decision. And if a week from now, a month from now, it dawns on me that, Ross, you made the wrong decision, can I come and have a conversation with you? And you said yes.
Yeah.
And,
I was like,
outside forces, outside people were like, what the hell, Ross? And I understood it for, come on, Ross, that's, that might have been a terrible thing to us. But it also just testament to, I felt like I could tell you anything.
I think we could talk. I think
Yeah.
even me saying we could talk is really that.
Yeah. But you can come and tell me what's going on. I'm not saying I'll take you back, but I'll be willing to listen to. And that's how, when you said yes, I also, because you absolutely had the right, if I had come and said, listen, I made the wrong decision, had every right to be like, I hear you, but I can't do that again. Yeah, you would have had every right to do that, and I wouldn't have held it against you. But did we ever get real closure? Did we create it for ourselves? I think we had to do that work separately. Because also, for me, closure suggests, or a lack of closure suggests unfinished business. Do you feel like we have unfinished business? Then you can be honest.
What's unfinished business, though? No.
I don't think there's anything that we haven't said to each other that we needed to, because knowing you and I, we would have found a moment to say, you'd have called me and been like, listen.
What
Another thing is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm glad you said it to the rest of the world. Yeah, guys, she called the breakup.
Oh, yeah, they were like, Ross, you are such a terrible person. And I was like, I might be, but I can't take it back.
She called that. And no, you see, but on a serious note, though, you see, not to go too much off tangent, guys, we're able to talk.
Yeah.
Like, I think in our country, there's a lot of, and we met in radio, and we're currently right now both still on radio. And I say this on my radio show, and I say it a lot with my co-host Fox. And we say this with so much passion, in the sense of, guys, there is no need, whether it's a man or the woman coming to you and saying, I need, or let's do this. and it's then guns blazing on the person, on yourself. For me, I don't have grace for that. We talk so much about grace. I really don't. Because it is, I understand, buang, or okay, mekana, hey, this has been going wrong. This has been going right. But the way the things that have been going wrong, I think we need to libue. And just, it's gonna hurt. Jesus Christ.
It sucked.
Yeah, even for the person, even for me, it would hurt. Even for you, it would hurt.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for it to turn into a situation where now you're like on trial and that's insane business.
Also, can you really say you loved the person if you don't kind of want to release them from what it is bothering them so much that
that's a question.
they feel like maybe they can't continue the relationship?
That's a question.
Yeah, because now it feels like you're trapping them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think raraban.
Okay. It was very easy, I think.
Okay.
Name something you used to appreciate about being in a relationship with me.
Why did you say that's an easy one? Someone asked me this the other day. And the answer's always been quite simple. Like okay. How do I say this without gassing you up too much?
No, me? Guess me up? You can't guess me up. There's no way. Too humble, too easygoing.
Okay. Man, something I used to really appreciate about being with you was how much encouragement I got. I think we all get in our own heads a lot, and we talk ourselves out of a lot of things that we know we should do and that we're capable of doing in the very back of our minds, and then we make up a reason as to why we shouldn't do it or why we shouldn't do it right now.
Yeah.
And what I appreciated a lot about being with you is I could come up with the most cockamamie idea in the history of ideas, and you'd be like, yeah, do that. You'd be like, yeah, you can do that. Like every single thing I ever wanted to do, cockamamie idea that I ever had, you supported wholeheartedly, and not even like a little bit. Like you would go full guns blazing to make sure that I did it, or if I wanted something to make sure that I had it. And the way I felt when you did that was not that it came from a place of sacrifice, but genuine, just I believe that she can do that. So, not that it gave me a big head, but it just kind of made me feel like, yeah, if I do want to do something, I can. The worst thing I can do is fail. And even then I'm going to learn something that I wouldn't have learned if I hadn't gone ahead and tried to do it. So just the encouragement of, I share something with you and I'm a little bit shy about it, and you're like, no, actually that's brilliant. Go ahead and do that, is something that even to this day, I talk to myself like that now because you talk to me like that. And I appreciated that a lot. Yeah. What's something that you used to appreciate about being in a relationship with me?
It's two things, but it's the same thing, but it's two things, depending on how you see things. One being that I was so inspired. I was, still am, but in that space, I think it got amplified in the sense of the ambition and just not being afraid of doing things
and failure
and failing, and achieving where you achieve. I had that peace. I had that peace for my mind, for my heart, for not being afraid to fail and not also being afraid to succeed. That for me is and was is still a huge thing. Was a huge thing. And another huge thing is I just know love, man. I know love. I can't, I know when I'm not in love and when I'm just being an idiot.
Yeah.
Or when somebody's being an idiot.
Yeah.
So that I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without saying much, I think for me, that's that.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it. I would share that sentiment as well, where I know when it's a real thing and when it's not, which is why I haven't overtly been in like, a relationship since us. It's not that I'm not healed, but I just know what's real and what's not. It's easy to differentiate because, like you're saying, I've seen it, I've experienced it. So I know when it's the real deal and when it's, I guess, not. When we're here for a good time and not a long time.
When a little deal, debonaise.
Feel me?
A little deal piece.
So
okay.
yeah, that, like what you're saying, that like fearlessness of failure to be like, listen, if I fall, hurt myself, somebody's gonna be there to help lick my wounds.
Yeah.
And then we'll try again. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Best.
For me. Me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you have more cards than me?
I think now we have the same amount of cards.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not a competition.
No, it's not. I'm just like, okay, how many questions is she going to ask me?
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is an interesting one.
Sure.
How do you explain our current relationship to people who ask? I feel like this one also depends who asks, right?
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. Because I think we met people now, even in business or...
Who asks?
Even in business, yeah.
Ask about us. Mm.
And those are people who, I think, from what I know about you, it's not a short-term thing. So those are people we've known, probably the same audience of people. And those are Kidi OGs are. So the honesty has to be there.
The people who are rooting for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So OGs.
Yeah.
It's that's my person. That's my friend. That's, in slang, I was going to use the N-word, but that's my person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What a sharp.
So real. Yeah.
It's just that. What a sharp. What more? I think for people that don't mean, because not everybody is important. That less
not
important
everybody's
people
in our
who ask that question, I'll still tell you the same. And it's really that. It's really true.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell the person that means a lot or matters to me the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like we're doing PR.
No.
Like we really are cool. Yeah. In fact, I would like to add to this question.
Hi, Bo. Oh.
How do you explain our current relationship to people that you're dating?
The same way.
Yeah? Same answer applies. Okay.
We're cool.
Yeah. Same. I tell them very explicitly that I have no bad blood for this person. I'm talking about people that I maybe start seeing on a romantic level.
Yeah.
I have no bad blood with this person. And I won't accept somebody forcing me to never have contact with you because, for starters, I don't even have that much contact with you, really. We can go a whole year having spoken to each other maybe once or twice, but it doesn't change the fact that we're cool.
I think the next time we probably talk is when Arsenal hopefully wins the league.
Hopefully.
Because I think for me, I say this seriously though. I want Arsenal to win the league for your dad.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just that.
Yeah.
The other day
100%.
the other day on radio, I was like, no, I seriously need Arsenal to win. And folks was like, you don't mean that. I'm like, I do. I think just for your dad,
Yeah.
they should win, and then they can start being
I mean,
Arsenal
we
after
put
this.
an Arsenal flag on the guy's casket. He needs this.
He needs this. No, on a serious note. So
No,
yeah.
100%. I tell them that it'll always be that way, and it doesn't mean that we're still romantically linked, but it just means that if he calls me, I'm gonna answer the phone. Yeah. So.
Can I?
Please go ahead.
I'm. Ha ha ha.
What? Who should we sue? Tell me who we're suing.
Is that water? Okay, I need water.
What?
If you could speak to my future partner. Right? Crazy, right? Crazy. What would you tell them to expect?
To expect. Woo, he's nuts, man.
What do you mean?
Okay, on a serious note, oof.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Heish.
Okay, what would I tell her to expect? He's sensitive, man. Like, you don't walk on eggshells around him, but know that he feels everything really, really deeply. Like, things that you maybe wouldn't expect the typical man to, feel, experience, how in touch he is with, like, how he feels. You're gonna get everything out of him. And you have to have grace for that. He's not... Kore, if you guys have an issue, you guys are not the problem. The issue is the problem. So have grace for him in that he wants to see you guys come out on the other side of it. And if you're having difficulty getting him to understand something, it's not because he's trying to fight you. It's because you are genuinely coming from different perspectives and you're wired a certain way. We all come from different backgrounds and we all are the way we are because of our circumstances and experiences. So have grace for him in that regard, knowing that every emotion is almost amplified with him, like he feels everything.
I'm human.
He's human, and he doesn't let things go that he feels like he wants to talk through. So you're going to have to talk through it and understand his perspective. And another thing that I would have to prepare her for is that, he loves his family. Like, if you ever went in there thinking that you're going to be number one, it doesn't mean he loves you any less, but genuinely his daughter, his mom and his sister are...
My pops.
And his dad are his entire life, and he protects them so fiercely that if you don't understand that and you think that it makes you number two, it's not a competition. He just will always put them before anything and even himself. So it's not personal to you. Like, that's just how he's wired. And that's how, he treats his family. So that's what I would say to her if I could speak to her.
What would I say to this brother? I'd be like, bro, don't drink sparkling water. You might want this.
You're gonna need a drink? That's what you were telling?
You're gonna need a drink, my boy. Let's sit and talk. Down there. No. Man, you are... You know my favorite animal again?
An eagle.
An eagle. She's exactly that. The world is hers. I mean, she sees it from a higher place than anybody else sees it, and everything about her, from the way she views life, it's about soaring. Friendships need to soar. Business needs to soar. Like, you just need to let her and be there and understand what you have and who you have, and just let her do her thing.
Yeah.
Just really let her do her thing.
Yeah.
And you're just going to get the best version of her. And once you get the best version of her, she'll be the best version for herself and for you as well.
Yeah.
So just let her be.
Yeah.
And she does everything with love, with intention. So trust her.
Yeah. That's really nice.
Let her be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's great advice, personally. What's something you are grateful we experienced together?
AKA. Rest in peace. It's our favorite artist.
Oh man.
It's our favorite artist of all time, both of us. So many experiences there.
Not even just the shows we went to, but like the music and sharing the music.
You know.
Being like invested in the beef.
Yeah. With TV, big shout out to
The life of
Casper.
a stan is not easy.
Yeah. Who stands for the same person.
Yeah, I thought that was really magical. Like that was a cool thing that we bonded over.
It was really a
still
good
do.
thing. Yeah. I think that's something we experienced. We bonded a lot over food.
Me cooking it and you eating it.
Yeah, that stuff. We bonded a lot over food. And I mean, we did shows together for a great 8 years. How many times did we spend on the show? We did the drive on Yarona for how long?
We might have been on radio together for about 5 years.
Wait, how long was drive?
We did Next Level.
Wasn't that 2 years?
Yeah, and then we did Drive for maybe, I want to say
4 years? 3 years?
about 3.
So 5 years. Yeah, radio, which is for me a great love, and I know a great love for you. We got to experience that
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
You know, where we got to experience that together. Let me not get into details.
What are the details?
No, just where just like to explain while I was about to keep everything away. But where it's a job, that it's a career, it's a passion that we shared, together. So sometimes there would be fights that you wouldn't, as the listener, know. You would think everything is
Kante, when the mic's off, Millie.
yo, it's like yo.
I appreciate our professionalism though. That really got us through.
Professionalism in the sense of that. We did that. We experienced a lot, man. Like
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
But on the back of that, that is also something I'm grateful we experienced together as working together. There is and will never be another MOG and Ross on radio.
The work ethic. I think.
Yeah.
Big shout out to rest in peace, Shona, and Connie. I think when you realize that you can work together,
Yeah.
I think it gave a new dynamic to power.
It was like, oh my God, we can do anything.
Right.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal experience working with you.
Yeah.
And you made me love just like the technical aspect of radio where I get on, behind the desk today and I'm just like, let me show you guys a little something. I learned that from you. I learned that from Carlos, but spending so much time with you on air, I learned the most from radio from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm grateful to have shared that with you.
And also, one last thing. It's okay. You can date. Best friends can date. Okay. It's okay.
You can't really be best friends afterwards, but do your thing.
Do your thing. So, yeah.
Do your thing. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to work together. It was very important because the most common question we would get while we were together was, so you guys, what happens when you have a fight? We're like, we work. Yeah, it's two different things. Yeah, we never brought our relationship on air. Although we were asked for like 2 years before we actually started dating, every text on the show was like, you guys dating? I remember even my dad asking, what's going on over me? Like, nothing, Dad. Until it was something, But yeah, I'm grateful that we shared that experience. Would you do that again? Or maybe we should leave that for the after conversation. Work with me again. Don't answer that now.
Okay, my turn. Oh, Jesus Christ. If this was our last conversation, what would you want me What would you want to make sure I know? If this was our last conversation, what would you want to make sure I know? Right.
Yikes. Okay. On the real, jokes aside, one, and I feel like you already know this, there's never been anything to disprove it. I really, 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 really loved you. Like, that relationship was very real for me. And I hope the fact that it no longer exists like that doesn't negate anything that happened in it. I was true to my word the entire time. And I also would want you to leave here knowing that you're a really good person.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a really good person. And I think that you deserve to go out into the world every day knowing that and acting based off the fact that you know that you're a good person. Yeah, you're worthy of so many things. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of success. Like, if anybody ever tells you otherwise, let me know. I'll shoot their house up. You're worthy of everything that you want, and you're also capable of it. You're so smart. You're incredibly intelligent. Anybody who doesn't know that about you is missing out. You're really, really smart, and I trusted you because of it. That's how I always knew I was safe with you, is he knows what he needs to know, and if he doesn't know something, he'll learn it. So that's what I would always want you to carry with you. And if this was the last conversation we ever had, that you would know that about yourself, is that you deserve success and you will get it one way or the other, and that you are capable of so much love. And that, you're a really good person.
I get that a lot, eh?
You get told you're a good person?
I get told that a lot, but there's also, I'm a human. I think that's where the thing of that people that really know you and have experienced you, we experience people differently, but that people who have experienced both the good and the bad of you, who can still say that. And I think for me, I believe that.
Good for you.
No, you have to. You have to.
And I would want you to believe
I think a lot
that,
of us go
course.
through that, where
Self-doubt.
sometimes you don't believe that you're a good person.
Yeah.
That
doesn't mean that you're saying without flaws.
Without flaws.
You do have flaws, but
So I appreciate you saying that.
Of course.
Like I do. I just want you to know as well. I think it's very much similar, but for me, it's just you are good in every way. You're good in every way, and I think for now to be really, really myself and to say, like I'm going to say in the sense of not trying to shield anything,
Go ahead.
because everything I've said it aware of what I'm saying, meant every single word of it. But this one, it's something I'll tell my daughter probably as well, is you're great.
Yeah.
And I don't want you, and I mean this, I don't want you to dim your light and what you're about and what you believe in and what you want to achieve and what you expect for anyone. You understand that? I don't do that.
I won't.
Don't do that. You're too You're too great. You understand that? Don't ever do that.
I won't.
Hey, don't dim. Go out there and just, I said it before, let her do her thing. And why not just do your thing?
Yeah.
You're an amazing person. You're an amazing daughter, an amazing brother,
Sister.
sister, brother, to your brother.
Yeah.
An amazing colleague. I've got to experience those, in all their mighty and glory.
Yeah.
Just be great and do your thing. I believe in you. I've always believed in you,
Yeah.
and I'll always believe in you.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. I think I needed to hear that today.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Pops.
You're watching the Purple Playroom, and did we mention this is a super, super special episode? Thank you, by the way, to our guests for coming through and having this conversation. It can't have been easy to come on board as former partners. In fact, maybe I can start there and just throw this one at you, Ross, to say, what made you decide to do this? Or why did you agree to do this? Let me say that. Why did you agree to do this? What had you saying yes?
When we sat down and conceptualized the Valentine series, I think we were very intentional about showcasing love in as many forms as we could in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
We could never cover everything.
Yeah.
But, we've showcased so much leading up to this point, and I think it's important to acknowledge love that also changes form. This is that. And yeah, so I feel like in terms of representation and what we set out to do when we did the Valentine's episodes, I needed to just kind of, I'm not going to say bite the bullet, but put myself out there and be like, I can bring this to the forefront and let people in on what it looks like. I have no idea as to whether or not they care. But yeah, here we are.
Thank you so much for doing that. MOG, I'm going to throw the same one at you and also just get you to confess. What did Ross bribe you with to be here? But what was your what was
He
your
ain't getting nothing out of this.
what was the thinking behind it?
Okay. I think it was just because I was telling her, I think at a different point I would have refused, and she knows that I would have refused to do it. Selfishly, a lot has happened in my life, since us and even currently. But a lot of that also has been good in the sense of self-discovery, self-awareness. That's an ongoing journey.
I
Doesn't
believe it
change.
should be, yeah.
And where I am is self-discovery and being vulnerable is where I feel comfortable. And this just found me in that space where I'm just comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that this and us is one of the most vulnerable experiences that I've been in. And it just found me in a space where I'm comfortable being open and sharing.
And we appreciate that. I believe it's so beautiful to be authentic.
Yeah.
And as somebody in the public eye, a lot of the time people just think you have this amazing life and everything is sunshine and roses. I think it's important to sometimes put out there the not so good, the pain, the sad moments, if you will.
Yeah.
And speaking of sad moments, I actually heard the both of you mention how you did really well with regards to putting, sort of the relationship aside and being professional. We all know when it comes to workplace romances, and I'm throwing this at you deliberately, it can be quite challenging. So I want to know, did you ever have any of that as a challenge in terms of you work together, you were together? Did that, have any issues? And then after you were not together, you still work together. I'd like to know how you went about doing that.
We actually went together when we stopped working together. Well, how can I phrase this?
We worked together
We worked
for
together.
most of our relationship.
Yeah.
And then when we broke up, there was still work that was
Yeah.
there
It
to be
wasn't
done.
radio anymore.
It wasn't
Oh,
radio.
So we
it
had
was
left.
just work
We
outside
ran.
there.
so you were doing a business together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you still continued doing the business together even after you broke up? No?
What had to be tied, or what had to be closed,
We
or
closed.
we closed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Professional
Okay.
and a little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was very partnership like even then to say obviously we can't work together after this, so let's amicably just kind of wrap this up and walk away from it. And he never gave me any trouble. I never gave him any trouble, and we kind of just
Would you give Ross a good reference if somebody came to you and wanted?
Didn't she want a reference before?
I think I have actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when I
he's
did.
written me
After you've
glowing
broken up?
reference. Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah,
and vice versa?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a stellar work ethic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But in terms of, to answer your question initially about did it ever kind of get difficult while we worked together?
yes.
A lot of people might not know this, but we liked each other for a really long time before we started
Dating?
dating. And I think then us being paired together on radio, for me especially, he can speak for himself on that one, was my kind of cue to say, okay, now you really can't do anything with him. Because typically women, and we can't shy away from it, are
Yeah.
more compromised in work situations if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And I was so about what I wanted to do on air and the plan that I had, that I was like, I'm not going to let having a relationship with someone and it possibly ending compromise my career. I'm still so new at this, and there's things I want to do. So I held off, and he respected that as well. He was just like, you know what? Yeah. And he respected that, and we were able to work with each other for maybe a couple of years before at some point, you can only run away from him for so long. And even that conversation, when we eventually had it, I remember telling him, I'm like, if we're going to do this, it better work, because I love this job. Like, I love you, but I love this job as well. So we are really going to have to work so hard at making sure that the job is never compromised. So let's make sure that this is one of the things we work diligently at in order to try to have the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, we made it work.
Yeah.
I think with every relationship, there's difficult moments. You go through different. Radio is radio. You know what I mean? It's there. You are there every day, Monday to Friday, a certain time. But we made it work. We made it work. Let me just put it as that.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say. We just made it work.
No,
Yeah.
no problem. I think I want to just get you to advise on this one, because you mentioned the fact that even now, when you knew you had to part, but you still had this great, the respect, the understanding, and the friendship, especially for each other. What advice would you give to people who are in a similar situation? So, this person is with person A. They really, can see that this relationship is not working, but I still like you as a friend and I want, good things for you. How would you advise them to go about it?
I have forgotten this. And I'm also giving advice to myself, by the way. So I'm saying this also to myself. But exactly how you put it, in the sense of, you need to remember, no matter what kind of difficult situation you're going through, there has to be. I've forgotten it. And let me not even sit here and act like I've forgotten it. But an advice also I'm telling myself is, you're going through this difficult period. This person is still the person you love. This is still your friend.
Yeah.
So no matter how crazy the fight is, no matter how wild it's going, there has to be some level of conscious feeding into your subconscious that reminds you what how fight. I'm still with the person I love. Nzikina letsala. Where you are able to still go like, friend,
Yeah.
Hofa is going north, eh?
Yeah.
As or we're again,
Yeah.
really sharp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we get into situations where you forget what this is still.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's just the main thing. Don't forget who this is. Don't forget what they mean to you, no matter what craziness is going through. I think there are situations where I could have remembered between us as well. And even in other situations where you're just like, but this is my person. So, jaaka re gagautana yana o go iragala eng, o tshwenya.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that.
If people are going through like an actual breakup, my advice would be don't rush to be friends.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, because there's so many intense feelings that come with a relationship in general and then come with separating, that it's too much for you to try to be homies with a person right off the bat.
Yeah.
Don't do that because the lines are going to get blurred. You know, you have feelings for each other for a really long time after you break up. It's natural. So don't think, yes, because we started off as friends, let's try not to sour the fact that, you know, we're leaving each other by completely not having contact or whatever. It's okay to have no contact. And I encourage it, actually. Just leave the person alone. Let them heal. You know, allow them to just go through. They're not happy about this, the fact that this relationship has ended, and neither are you. It's not a cakewalk. And it's okay to just kind of leave each other alone until, if ever, and it's okay if also that never happens, a time where you can have a drink together or just be buddies. It doesn't happen for everyone also. And it's okay. It doesn't mean anything is wrong or that you didn't love each other or that you didn't respect each other. It's fine. Just leave people alone.
Let it be.
Let people be.
I want to ask you this, emoji. Ross, when asked what she would say to your future partner, said something along the lines of just that you feel a lot. You are, that I want to say intense. Was that right? Is that who you are? Did she have you pegged right?
I'm passionate about life. I'm passionate about life, but I think for me, what I like to thank God for is I'm also very. There's a level of calmness that comes with that passion.
Yeah.
There's a level of nonsense that comes with that passion, but it's not to a point where
It's chaotic.
it's going
He's
to be
not chaotic.
chaos.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about life. I'm human. I feel. I express how I feel. Sometimes I've been successful. Sometimes I've failed. But I think what she was talking to is the times where my failures came in conversations. Maybe not the calmest conversation, but I will say it. I will say it. And then the growth maybe comes from how that conversation goes. That's where the growth needed to happen. But I will say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would regard him as like an intense person, but that has been or had times where it was very advantageous to the relationship, you know? It's a strength rather than a weakness, and that's how I meant it when I said it. You know, what I would want to tell his future partner about him is that, like, if it's harnessed correctly and if he feels safe enough to just be himself, that intensity is really good.
So I want to pose the same question to
Yeah.
you. He mentioned just how, you show up, you're very intentional,
Yeah.
in what you do. Was he speaking correctly to your future partner? Would that
He should just let me be. Yeah, I thrive when I'm free. Yeah, I need to feel like I have freedom. And freedom doesn't mean to run amok and do what I want in negative ways. But if I feel like I'm boxed in any kind of way, you won't get the best out of me. And if anybody knows that, it's him. It was really as straightforward as he put it out there to say, I need to be the best version of myself to give you the best version of myself. And that's the math. 1 + 1 is 2.
Snook or knock.
Yeah.
So, two more, and then I'll close off. Would you do radio again together?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Would you? What kind of show would it be, by the way? If you were.
It has to be prime time. I don't think I can go anything that's not prime time. that's my ego speaking. But yeah, I think she knows me enough and I know her enough, and I think the one thing that we both have is knowing how to work with people. We work well with people. So I think with us, in the sense of we're good, like we're sharp, and radio needs but to have a sharp.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it would be dope. Yeah, I think.
Ross, would you do it?
You know what? Based on of what he's saying, theoretically, I think a show would be fantastic.
I hear it, but
my reservations looking at a situation like that would be, we have a very familial relationship already. And there's a certain knowledge we have of each other, an intimate knowledge that we have of each other that most co-hosts don't have. You know what I mean? And how long would it take before we're sort of back in there again and crossing the line? It's an option. We can't write it off because it has happened before. Yes, we have grown in so exponentially since we've hosted any kind of radio show together or worked together. I think it's been 6 years now since we've been off air.
together.
Yes, together. So my worry would be, what would it take to fall back into that?
Discipline, professionalism.
Yeah,
Especially given that you guys don't have beef with each other.
We don't.
You still respect one another.
Yeah, and
Not
so
to say there wasn't discipline. It was a conscious
there was a
decision.
lot of discipline.
Yeah, there was.
I mean, we went 2 years, like we're saying, just working with each other without ever having, and no one believed us. That's the thing. We had so much chemistry, and there was a visible attraction that you could even, an audible attraction even, but we just never did anything about it, regardless of whether or not anyone believed us. But we had discipline. So, in that scenario, and I also don't know how it would come off to our now future partners. Would they be secure and relaxed, knowing that you work every day with your ex, you guys have inside jokes, because we have inside jokes, so I don't know if that would be comfortable for them. And I always look at the future to say, I want my relationship with him to feel comfortable for whoever comes into the picture, because it is a very natural, organic relationship, but I never want to kind of cross the line. So
having that
yes,
close
in theory,
proximity.
yes, in theory, I would love to host if somebody offered us a job right
you have to
now,
be like a politician.
if someone offered us a job right now, I would have to think long and hard about it, because I would want to take the job immediately. I would work with you. I just don't know what effect that would have on the future, and that's what worries me.
To be okay. You're thinking too much.
Okay. Okay, so I want to close off with a question that we like to close off with on the Purple Playroom, and you have answered something similar to it. But if this was your very last conversation, um, you know, say this was the last thing you were to say to Ross, God forbid, what would it be? Or maybe let me ask you first.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Yo.
Let me give you a chance to think about it.
Yeah. Although I feel like we have answered it already, if this was our last comment, man, that's so final.
Yeah,
Like
if
I
this
would
was
never,
his last
you know?
time or your last time to be breathing.
Yeah. Oh my God. It would, I mean, I'm going to answer it basically the same way to say the love I have for you has always been so genuine. And even if it's not, it doesn't look the same as it did 4 years ago, it's a different kind, but it is definitely still genuine. And yeah, I want the very best for you. I would go out of my way to make sure that you had the best of whatever you had access to. Yeah, I really would. I would put, you know, my head on the block for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just going back to what I said earlier, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't achieve. Yeah, you have crazy ideas. Just do them.
Just nuts.
Yeah, just do it.
Thank you.
They don't come from a uninformed place. You are, and you know this, incredibly intelligent, incredibly poised, calm, loving, empath. Hi, batini man. Hi, a lot of that.
To a fault sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just an amazing human being.
Yeah.
A really, really amazing human being. And there's nothing you can't do. And the reason why also people are drawn to you, and everybody knows that, is your energy doesn't lie. Your energy is just as true as it is.
Yeah.
So don't ever doubt yourself.
I got you.
And
Do
that's,
what you gotta do.
and that's how we're going to wrap up this edition of the Purple Playroom. Remember, you can find us across social media platforms. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, and we are on Facebook. Just type the Purple Playroom. My name is Cathy Malejane, and normally I'm not alone. Today it has been a bit of a solo mission. With my co-host WolfLikeRoss. To the both of you once again, MOG, Ross, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Amo beats.
Ghost in my room, make you stare. But I guess that's just status, 'cause I know. Ghost in my room, make you stare. But I guess that's just status, 'cause like you always get it